I have some very exciting news for today's video. My watch matches my shirt. In all seriousness, hang on. Huh? Look at that. New kit. TLR 22X4 Elite. Hang on. It's right here. And I've already raced it, so I can give you guys all the juicy information as to how it feels on the track and the build and all that stuff. So I will be happy to tell you guys all the things that I noticed as I put the kit together. We're going to mention some of the running changes that were made to the 22X platform and some of the option parts that are now included with the kit right out of the box. The thing's a ripper. I'm excited to talk about it. I have to give a huge shout out and thank you to Kenny Setzer. He is always my go-to stuntman driver when I'm trying to get footage of my car and I need somebody that can drive it and throw some sick whips and have those fast, tight racing lines to get that cool footage. So Kenny, thank you. I guess we'll go ahead and start with what I noticed as I was going from the cracking open a fresh seal, building the kit, and then bringing it to the track. So let's go ahead and start with what I noticed right out of the box. The 22X4 is a excellent platform. I was really worried that they might try to change a bunch of things, but they didn't. They have kept the core of this awesome car intact and then updated just a few small things to make it an even more capable weapon of a four-wheel drive platform. Nothing here is notably different when it comes to how they identify all the different bags as you go through the build process. I don't know about you guys, but I've done so many of these TLR kits that I pretty much always start by building the shock bag, building the diffs, and then moving on to putting the rest of the kit together. Same is true with this one, nothing different here. I have built this thing as it comes right out of the box. I have not added any performance upgrades or done any crazy setup changes. I literally wanted to build it per spec by the manual and take it to the track. And that's exactly what we did. So I'm going to get to that stuff here in a minute, but continuing on with the different part options that I noticed that this kit has when I put it together. Probably at the core of this whole build process, I noticed that the car is now coming with a center diff versus the slipper that the previous version had. This is pretty much a standard option part that everybody ran. I played around with running the slipper in the past, but I never really felt comfortable with it. Running the previous generation car with the slipper option, I never felt like it delivered as much consistent power delivery as the center diff. If I needed to tune the car's power delivery, I would either go from as low as 200K for like an outdoor dirt situation, all the way up to 2 million if I found myself in a carpet setting. Next most notable change I saw with this vehicle is that it came with some titanium turnbuckles. That's usually one of the first upgrades that I'll make with a car because you save a ton of weight. Going to a titanium turnbuckle set typically shaves a good deal of weight. I've seen anywhere from like 20 to 30 grams when I switch from a steel to a titanium set. But it comes with them right out of the box. Pretty cool. Moving from the turnbuckle to the shock tower, I noticed that there are now 3 inner ball link hole locations versus the 2 that the previous towers had. So this is great. It gives you a wider tuning window should you need to go all the way up or all the way down or somewhere in between. Again, for the sake of my race day and this video, I built it straight how it is suggested out of the box, and it is center in the front and center in the rear. Another update that I am super excited to see is this tabbed battery hold down system. The previous setup with the bands, I would sometimes find myself with the bands getting a little bit stretched out and not as tight as they could be, or I would make an impact into a wall or a pipe or a jump, and the battery would sometimes kind of lift itself up and shift over onto that center outdrive. I destroyed a couple battery packs doing that, and it was definitely very frustrating. So for the longest time, I have just been taping my batteries in to avoid that issue altogether. With this system, the car is still able to flex, but with this hard-mounted carbon tabbed setup, the battery is not going anywhere. So this is super awesome, lightweight, and it's a welcome change. Super happy to see it. The next most notable update was this front chassis brace. On the old version, we saw this kind of double-bridged, super stiff carbon plate that we would run when we put the carbon chassis on, or if we found ourselves in a carpet scenario to really stiffen up that front end, versus the no bridged braces going from the front bulkhead to the steering post. This front chassis brace, I don't know the correct terms of the axes to explain the difference here, but with this single center brace line, we can have a limitation of the flex of the car kind of tacoing on itself from front to rear, but we are still going to see some flex going from side to side. Somebody down in the comments below, please help me with the terminology I'm trying to use. Additionally, in the carbon brace department, we see that the front brace is now a little bit thicker and the rear brace is a little bit thinner. My best guess as to why they did this change and the way it was feeling on the track is that the thicker front brace calmed down the front end, and the rear thinner brace allowed a little bit more flex to generate a little bit more grip and stability. Another exciting update that the car now includes in the kit is the aluminum domed shock caps. This was a great option part to put on your two-wheel drive or your four-wheel drive vehicle because of the way that the car just has a much more consistent landing feel. Something about the mechanics of the oil being pushed into a domed area versus a flat made the car feel much better on landing. Last option part that I noticed the kit included is the aluminum steering rack. Previous car came with a plastic steering rack, and a lot of guys were purchasing this as an option part, gave it a little bit more direct steering feel and eliminated some of that flex in the steering assembly. Another area we are seeing an additional mounting hole location is the steering arm or steering plate. I forget what this is technically called, but the previous version had just 2 mounting hole options. With this one, we are seeing an additional hole so that you can fine-tune how aggressive you want your steering feel. Overall, out of the box, the car appears that it is going to be just a smidge lighter than the previous version. Slightly different chassis bracing up front and in the rear. Overall, the car, it seems that it's going to be a little bit more numb in the front and a little bit more stable in the rear. So I'll go ahead and iterate again. I did not change any of the suggested settings or setup on the vehicle other than what it has me build it straight out of the box. So we're using the kit springs, we're using the kit oil, pistons, diff oils, etc. Okay, so now let's talk about what we were doing with it once we got to the track. Quick breakdown, if you've never been to New Red's Hobbies, this is an indoor track with a sealed dirt surface and carpeted jumps. Slightly unique, but the good thing about this track for today's testing purposes is that the grip is very consistent from beginning to end. Tires are usually always the same, just a clay compound slick. Nothing too crazy with your tire prep as far as sauce or anything like that goes. So it provided a good atmosphere for me to really feel the differences with this vehicle compared to the last. If anyone remembers when the 22X4 first came out, the base setup was something that Dakota Fend really liked, and it was very aggressive on the steering department. It had a lot of initial steer and some excellent mid-corner rotation. This car, the way it comes out of the box, we're still getting excellent mid-corner rotation, but the initial steer has calmed down quite a bit. It's still very direct, and it's kind of like a give it as much as you want based on how much you turn the wheel. It'll just give you more or less, but it's not as hypersensitive as it was before. So I think this is going to be a welcomed change for those that found the old setup, the old car, just a little bit too much for them to hold on to. This one, I went ahead and had Kenny Setzer drive it. I'm going to give you his opinion on it here in just a second, but he agreed and found the changes to be a very easy to drive vehicle. Kenny, what were your thoughts? How did it feel?
It was like...
Wait. Okay, go.
It was absolutely dialed out of the box. Like, it felt like a car you've worked on for a while at a certain track, and it just gripped the track, didn't traction roll, it just rotated around the corners. It was just dialed.
Now, comparing it to the old car, like the old setup, can you identify some differences as far as like what the initial setup was and then compared to how they have it coming out of the box with this one?
The old car, it turned a lot, like quick. This car's like more smoother. It doesn't react as fast in the steering.
Okay, so a little bit easier on the initial steer.
Yeah.
But still has good mid-corner rotation.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any other thoughts on it?
No, I mean, everything else feels, the rear end feels the same, but the front is just a lot smoother planted to the track.
Okay, cool. Well, you suck. Thanks for getting those dialed racing lines. You can do it again next time. Guys, you have to give a thumbs up, leave a like down in the comments below, because Kenny, he always does this stuff for me, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Kenny. Even though I don't hate him. He hates me sometimes, because I beat him. As far as how we have decided to outfit our 22X4, nothing has changed here as far as my electronics and power platform. I have opted to run the Trinity horsepower, obviously. We have a 13.5 X Factor. It's a certified edition, in case you were curious. We are running the 4100 LCG pack. I do hear some talk on should you run a higher capacity battery that has a little bit more of a consistent voltage feel from start to finish, with the trade-off of it being a little bit heavier. I don't like those batteries. I think that this car handles much better with a LCG pack, the thin packs, and the trade-off of any sort of horsepower loss that you may experience is definitely made up for in the handling feel of the vehicle. So I thought it'd be fun to race the vehicle as well. So I have a 13.5 four-wheel drive main event from my club race day here at New Rides Hobbies. So we'll go ahead and jump into that.
We are done. Taking this one, 24.608, Ryan, after 23.603, and they are 26.07. Made it back. All right, race number 7 should be our 13.5 four-wheel drive buggies. Bring them on up. Drivers ready. Turn marshals ready. Here we go. Everybody on the horn, less than 5. Here we go. We're going on. See if Ryan Harris can keep this one. Here he is in the first spot right there. That's Wayne. Bunch of colors looking the same. So I'll try to keep you abreast of what's going on. Ed Vince right now behind the leader right now. There they are. Vince almost touching. They come over the hill. It is Ryan with Vince all over the background. There they go. Got Nolan in number 3. Here they come the leaders right now. There it is. Ryan and Vince touching each other. Nolan, Andrew, Jason. Oh, there it is. You got. Looks like Vince gonna take that lead real quick. And there it is, Vince McMahon. Nolan now taking that number 2 spot. Ryan dropped back to the 3. Jason Davis now up to the 4. But right now, Vince McMahon in the lead, coming over his first jump here. Last jump, and here they go, down the straightaway. 1 and 2, Vince with Nolan on his tail. Just the way Vince did it with Ryan. Ryan now making a 3. There it is, what a pass you saw right there. You're going to have a new leader here, and then Nolan there takes the lead away. Vince, what a move coming over that jump, guys. That was impressive. Without taking the leader out, he went right around, and what a race there we got going on. And you got Nolan, Ryan Harris, and Vince, top three, and all of them right now come over the start finish line. Then they go down the front straight. Those are your leaders. Nolan put a hell of a move on the leader. Here he is doing a little acrobatic things over the jump. Get those cars to fly. Here they come. 1, 2, and 3 coming over the final jump. There they go. It is Nolan, Ryan, and Vince. Oh, and Nolan catches the pipe up there. You're going to have a cluster coming up over the big jump and hitting out the middle of the track. We got Ryan Harris all over the back of the leader now, pushing a little bit. Here they come. Oh, and Ryan Harris rolls on the leader. Oh, and there it is. He got a lead. Oh my God, did you guys see that? Ryan Harris looks like he's got the lead. It took it between him and Vince. Here they come to the chute. Nolan's going to be in that number 3 spot. Wow, up on 2 wheels. Then they come across. Ryan Harris with Vince on his heels. 2:30 down, 3.5 to go. Oh, we got some racing going on here. That's your leader, Ryan Harris. Oh, we got traction roll down the front. Picking up some air from Jason Davis. Nick Campbell now to the 5. 30 seconds to go. See if anybody can reel in Ryan Harris. Final race of today's program. Thank you guys for coming out. 20 seconds to go. Leader now in the center of the track. 12 seconds, he's going to get another lap. And here he is with his victory lap coming up. He can keep it together. Ryan Harris heading up the hill. To Grandma's house he goes. Here we go. Over the final jump. Race is going to be over. The race is over. You cross, you're done. Vince, you're done. Nolan, you're done. Everybody's done. Waiting for Jason. Ryan, you're done. Waiting for Jason Davis. Gotta take that number 3 spot. Track the hot guys. Ryan Harris out of the 22.605. Followed by Noah, 23.6.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming out, and we'll be going here in 1 minute.
22X4 Elite. This car is awesome. It comes with several of the option parts that we have all loved over the past couple years. Super excited to see that included in the box. I think that this thing continues to be a weapon straight out of the box. You don't need to do a ton of crazy top secret setups to it or add additional hop-ups and option parts. This thing rips straight out of the box, as you can see. Well, that's it. This thing's sick. It's a ripper. Can't wait to race it more. Thank you guys for watching. So if you'd like to see updates for some new kits and races and RC driving lessons and all that fun stuff, please hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh, I totally forgot to mention. Do you like this sick Raw Speed RS3 painted by Eric Everett? It's a little bit different. It's better than mine. I can't. Eric is a much better painter than me. It makes me cry. It makes me look at all my other bodies like they're absolute garbage in comparison to his. So, Eric, thank you for painting this super awesome body, by the way.